Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of Birds vs. Boys. We are live on July 6th. You are probably listening or watching this on July 7th. We hope you had a wonderful 4th of July with your friends and your family. And speaking about your friends and your family, if you have not told them yet, make sure you tell them about Birds vs. Boys, to follow us everywhere. Make sure they subscribe and you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have been blowing up on there. You will catch small video clips from myself about the Cowboys, from Aidan about the Eagles, full episodes like this when we are together, and a ton of other things. Make sure you follow us wherever you listen to podcasts: Google, Spotify, Stitcher. We are there. We are everywhere, Aidan. We are even now on the social media platform Threads, like everybody else. So follow us on. We're still on Twitter. So follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. In the inside of caves where we carve, we're there as well.
Send us a pigeon carrier. Well, any football question you have, just send it. I haven't figured out what our Instagram password is to get into Threads, but when I do, I will also answer your questions there. Anything that you have, bully me about the grass, whatever you would like to do. All of it is available to you, and we are providing content even in the dog days of summer. Luckily, people give us lists to argue about. I think that's where you wanted to start tonight, Kev.
Yep. Yes, and that's where we're going to jump right in. So CBS Sports, Aidan, I know you have not seen this list. I've looked at the list. They just put out their top 10 pass rushers heading into the 2023 season. Before we get into it, I'll just highlight the list from last season. 10 was Shaq Barrett. 9 was Robert Quinn, who was on the Chicago Bears at that point. 8 was Trey Hendrickson on the Bengals. 7, Joey Bosa. 6, Cam Jordan. 5, Von Miller. 4, Max Crosby. 3 was Nick Bosa. 2 was Myles Garret. And 1 was TJ Watt. Some of the same names and faces will be on this list.
So Robert Quinn.
Obviously. Moving up the list from 9.
Can't believe the Eagles haven't re-signed him yet.
Oh, absolutely hilarious. All right. So what we're going to do, Aidan, since I've seen the list, I'm going to go from 10 down to 1. And let's play a little like you agree, you think they should be higher, you think they should be lower, you think they shouldn't be on the list.
Okay. Cool? Give me like 10, 9, 8 too, if that's
okay. So let's go. We'll go from 10, 9, 8 right here.
Okay.
All right. So 10, Trey Hendrickson, Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
9, Zadarius Smith. Do you know where he's playing right now?
No.
Cleveland Browns.
Wouldn't have guessed that.
And 8,
a long year.
Brian Burns, Carolina Panthers, who a lot of teams were trying to get their hands on.
Yes, that's very ironic that he comes in at 8 as one of the top 10 pass rushers in the league, because it for sure looked like he was going to get traded last year. Mm-hmm. So I think so far fair. It's none of the big names, but also, like you said, like notable names. That doesn't mean much considering I didn't know that Zadarius Smith was on the Browns, but I've had a long year. I can't remember where everybody is. It's like that game they play with Charles Barkley, and they're like, guess this NBA player.
Yes.
And he's just like, he never knows.
The only thing I have, I'm like, there's got to be somebody else that can be on there besides Zadarius Smith. I feel like he gets injured a lot. I just feel like he hasn't had that exact same impact than he did.
You would think, because I'm going through the names right now of like the big names that are left, and there's only 7 names left, and I feel like I can think of 7 names right now.
Like easily, right?
Yeah. There's at least 2. There's 2 Bosas and a Watt. They're right there. Like there's 3 can't miss.
Not that difficult. All right.
There's somebody on the Browns better than Zadarius Smith at rushing the passer.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right, let's go 7, 6, 5.
Okay.
7, Matt Judon, New England Patriots.
The wits is starting to get
6.
He's good.
He is good. 6, Max Crosby on the Raiders.
Okay. That was one of the ones that I thought of, actually.
And 5, Hassan Reddick, Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. So we're getting into – I'm doing the math. The math is not mathing right now.
There's too many.
I'm thinking of first of all, Hassan Reddick, yes, top 5 pass rusher in the league. I am okay with 5. I'm not going to do an Eagles freak out and say.
Do you think he deserves to be above Max Crosby? Any chance they could be flip-flopped? If it was flip-flopped, would you be okay with it?
If it was flip-flopped, I would not have a freak out.
Okay. But you don't think Max Crosby – because I heard some people today saying Max Crosby is completely being snubbed here, being 6 and Reddick being 5. And I was like, Reddick had a All-American year last year.
I was about to say he was top 3 in the league in sacks, so I feel like it's really not that crazy to think that he's.
I mean, he
number
was
5
second. He had 16 and a half sacks last year,
and behind one of the Bosas who will be ahead of him on the list. So this is not crazy. But wait, but there's 4 names left, and I'm thinking of 5 people. So the map, somebody's getting. What's up?
Who are your 5 then? And then we'll go 4 down to 1.
Okay, so Micah, both the Bosa brothers, TJ Watt, and Myles Garret.
Okay. So one of them is not going to be on this list.
Yes.
Which is wild.
Very wild.
All right.
Can I guess who's not on the list?
Sure.
Myles Garret, because then it gets people like us talking about the list, the fact that they put Za'Darius Smith instead of Myles Garret.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's unveil 4 through 1.
All right. But to be fair, so far, I think non-bias, 5-6, I'm fine with. Think that's fair for both of them. If you say both of those are top 5 guys in the league, I'm not going to argue with you either. Hot take of the year. Both guys are good and positioned well.
Surprise, surprise. All right. Coming in at number 4, Micah Parsons, Dallas Cowboys, which I'm okay with too. I feel like all 4 are kind of like could be the same.
You know what's kind of funny? You say, all right, I'm fine. I feel like I'd have them higher.
I would too, but also I broke down the numbers for myself today. He had 12 and a half sacks 12 weeks into the season, basically. So he had basically a sack a game. The final 8 weeks, including playoffs, how many sacks do you think he had?
He only had 1 or 2. I remember that being a big thing among us, you Cowboys people, that
he had 3. He only had 1. He had 1 against Tampa, none against the 49ers. And he went like 0-0-1, 0-0 half. And it was like, it wasn't even against like quarterbacks that get the ball out quickly and like Mahomes and Brady. Ironically, Brady is one that he did get. It was against like the Colts, who had nobody. Against Josh Dobbs in Tennessee, Sam Howell in Washington. I think he was injured and he was gassed.
I was going to say, I feel like that was a learning the load management year, where it's his first time playing defensive end full time. And they're like, okay, maybe we should like rotate him through a little bit more. High snap count, first time playing that position full time. That'll do it. So
and his personality, right? He's going to go 150% every
snap. When they were on Hard Knocks, he wouldn't come out of the Ohio Canton game, which is like you barely put your pads on for that one. And he's like, why are you taking me out? It's like, buddy, we've got a long way to go from the Canton game. Literally step 1 of the year.
That is why they took you out, Mike. All right, so Micah Parsons at 4. So let's go 3 down to 1.
Okay.
And this is where they got me, because in a big national company, you can't have a tie. And they put a tie. So there's no one at 3.
No.
And they tied TJ Watt and Myles Garret at 2 together and put Nick Bosa at 1.
No. You can't tie. No, especially during the offseason when we need things to argue about to pass the time. Can't have ties.
No, there is no tie.
All right, we'll settle the tie. Who would you put it to?
I think I would put Myles Garret, simply because of the injuries that have been piling up a little bit with TJ Watt. If you gave me this list and it's like everybody's 100% fully healthy, guaranteed, I may put TJ at 1, Bosa 2, Garrett 3. I'm simply going to put Garrett above TJ just because of some injury history.
This is perfect to settle the argument, because I would put TJ Watt. And now I respect your point with the injuries, because it's like, all right, you have to show me body of work. Like, you have to be out there. This is a situation where, like you said, if you turn the injury sliders off on Madden, I would put TJ Watt at 1. I think he's the most unblockable force in the NFL and impacts the game that he's just usually around. You know, how many times have you seen him just get his hands on the ball, even if it's not a sack? How many times has he just taken the ball out of the air and forced a turnover on the times that he doesn't get to the quarterback? So injury sliders off, he'd be my number 1 over Nick Bosa, which I know is crazy because Nick Bosa led the league in sacks a year ago. But TJ Watt is always, like, when he's healthy, he is the league leader in sacks. So this is perfect. because I would go Watt at 2 and you'd go Garrett at 2, and there's no such things as ties.
You know what's very interesting about this list? I'm scrolling through here, and we're talking a lot about TJ Watt. He could be at 1. He's tied for 2. You have him at 2. I have him at 3. I'm trying to find Taco Charles. Can't find him on there. I know I see Mike Parsons on the Cowboys and TJ Watt, but I don't see Taco. It's very strange to me.
Can you do Justin Jefferson career receptions and Jalen Reagor career receptions next? When we do the top 10 receivers, can you let me know?
Yes, I will let you know where Jalen Reagor is if you let me know where Taco Charles are. Even though I do believe Taco has a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah. Oh God. You know what? You know what would be interesting? I wonder where people would put AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson. Well, if they did a top 10 list, I think
maybe next week I'll find a list that has the top receivers.
Yeah, tune in next week when AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson tie it 2.
And all right. So we didn't talk about this at all. This is absurd a little bit, and this is also hot take, trying to stir things up in the offseason / ESPN / your guy who you like, Dan Orlovsky. He said the other day that CeeDee Lamb with a good season this year could work his way into being a top 15 wide receiver in the league.
He doesn't think he is right now.
Apparently. Please, dude, stop. You cannot give me 15 receivers better than CeeDee Lamb.
Well, let's start. Amari Cooper.
Uh-huh.
I can't think of any of those.
Cedric Wilson.
AJ Brown.
It's, if he told me working his way into being in the top 10, meaning like he could be 11 maybe, okay. But outside the top 15, I'm not even listening.
I was going to say, I put him in the top 10 to 15 range right now. If I'm playing him through my head. Again, it's like a health thing, like Cooper Kupp is awesome. Had surgery on his ankle, didn't play. Like, do you count that or what? Like, what do you do for last year? And his quarterback hurt his elbow. Like, where do you put a Cooper Kupp on that list? And stuff like that. So,
and last year in the second half of the season, I mean, CeeDee Lamb took over and became the bona fide number 1 for Dallas. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had 107 receptions, 1,359 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Come on. Stop with the outside the top 15.
It's going to work a little bit more. We'll see.
Just a little bit. All right, so that's the top pass rushers. There are no ties. It's just like kissing your sister. I don't have a sister, but I don't ever want to have to deal with that. So I think you and I, like, those top 4 that they do have in there, like, if you told me Micah was 1, and I would be fine in any order with those top 4 guys. Even if you moved up Hassan Reddick to 4, I think I'd be okay with it.
Me too.
Like, I think those top 5 guys are kind of.
I thought Joey Bosa would be on the list, but at the same time, like, I don't hate that list. Like, for an off-season list that's about arguments, I don't think it's that bad. And look, it took us like over 10 minutes talking about it, which is exactly what you need on July 6th. When guy throat fucking 62 hot dogs is the top sports headline.
Mm-hmm. Or a new Instagram / Twitter app.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady's dating Kim Kardashian.
Shoot me.
I sent this to you guys. We're not going to talk about this, but this was the most, like, the simulation was leading to this moment, right? Like, Tom Brady and Kim Kardashian. Just, that makes perfect sense. And I could go the rest of my life being like, yep, that makes sense. Let's never talk about it ever again.
Yep. All right. So you have some Eagles notes, or I should say an Eagles note, because, again, it is July 6th. We'll get into an Eagles point, a Cowboys point, and then 2 more little questions, and we will get you people out of here because, like we said, it's July. We're not keeping you around for an hour and a half today.
No. I have one note because there's one person who is absent and doesn't need to be. Keele Ringo has not signed with the Eagles yet. I know we're joking it's July 6th, but, like, training camp starts at the end of the month. You got drafted at the end of April. What is the deal? What's going on?
Told you. There were people on the Georgia staff telling teams in the NFL not to draft that guy.
But okay, where we drafted him at, which is the whole problem, in the 4th round. Like, I feel like it was a don't take this guy because, like, not worth the risk. In the 4th round at pick 106, probably worth the risk at that point. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that is now the problem, is he was getting first and second round grades. You saw him in multiple mock drafts that we saw that we were looking at, where at some points he was in the first round. He falls all the way to the fourth. He's up on you're watching the draft. He's on Mel Kiper's best available, all this stuff. Now all of a sudden, his agent, his team, they're thinking his value's first, second round. He falls to 4. The Eagles are saying, well, we're going to pay you like a 4th round pick. And now you got this gap. Now all of a sudden it's July 6th and he's not in the building yet. And I don't know, like, it's a bad look to be holding out year one. I don't care how far you fell. Can't be holding out year one.
And apparently he's got a lot of parental issues, and not that his parents aren't in his life. Apparently they may be in his life a little too much.
No.
And thinking he's the best thing in the world and giving him bad advice. That is all things I heard in the draft analysis heading into the draft and during the draft when he was falling, from some, former scouts that I truly believe in. So there were reasons that he fell, not only just reasons on the field, because I think, he's tall, he's lengthy, he can shut down, but we've seen him get beat at times. He wasn't as good this last year as he was the year before. So those are some questions of why he might fall. But I think the off the field issues, the parent stuff, the coaches from Georgia telling teams literally not to draft him, that's why he fell as far as he did. And I think that's just bleeding into this quote unquote holdout.
The parents thing. When there's like the parent living through the kid thing, cannot stand it. Do you think Keele Ringo rizzed up Livy Dunn and is now the new Riz King instead of Baby Girl? You think his dad's like DMing people like, draft my son?
Baby girl.
Did you see that he committed to LSU?
It's unbelievable.
10 years old. Like, what are we doing?
Like, that is like, yeah, congratulations, Brian Kelly, you loser.
Yeah, I'm sure he's like, when did we offer this 10-year-old a scholarship? Probably saw that. I was like, wait, what? This
kid's gonna in 3 years discover girls and just be done and just yeah.
This is every parent ends. This is why I hate it, because it always ends up with this with every helicopter parent.
Yep.
It burns out your son. Like even when they're in the league, like I'm like the ball, like Lonzo Ball was like burnt out of his dad by the time he got there. Yep. Markelle Fultz, like there's just in the Sixers book that they wrote, he was like done. He felt like his mom was like, he was trapped with his mom. Like every single one, like Ryan Leaf is the classic one that like burned him out so fast. And then he was literally a burnout who was doing like drugs and alcohol. It's like every single time this happens.
And it's sad to see, especially now as a parent. It's, you have to let them fly.
Yes, if Emma is ever an NFL prospect, promise me that you will not be one of these.
She will be. She's stronger than me already. It's crazy.
She's been cruising in the videos.
She's running around. She's flipping chairs. It's wild.
Dancing. She's got strong knees. I'll tell you that. She might be an NFL prospect after all.
You never know. Never know. Maybe it should be a kicker. Oh, it's a perfect transition. Speaking of kickers. Cowboys, right? End of the season. There was a bit of a kicker issue, right? Brett Maher missed 43 point-after attempts in one game.
Still an all-time moment.
That was just, I still cannot believe. I was literally like, Lisa went upstairs. She was down there. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And I like yelled up. I'm like, oh my God, he missed again. She's like, shut the fuck up. I go, he missed again. It was just.
That game was like a broken simulation moment where you're like, I can't believe this is a playoff game. Like,
literally,
the Bucks were so bad and just looked like they didn't belong at all. And it was just then the Cowboys were like, also, we can't make an extra point.
Yep.
How is this the first ever Monday Night Football? And it was a Monday Night Football game in the playoffs. It's like, nothing about this is making sense.
The only good thing was that Dak Prescott literally played the best game of his career. And then the next week fell apart. And it was Tom Brady's last, and that would be Tom Brady's last ever football game, which is,
of course,
absurd.
Everything about it.
But Brett Maher, I mean, all season he was nails for them, right? During the regular season, he had, I don't know if you remember that Minnesota Vikings game at the end of the half, he hit a 60-yarder, and then they called timeout and reviewed the play, saying that it wasn't a catch by CeeDee Lamb. But then they said it was, and he had to kick it again and hit it again. It just, he was money. But it didn't matter at the end of the season. It was in the Cowboys' head, so they, he was a free agent. They didn't re-sign him. They have Vizcaino on their roster right now, but he's got no pop in his leg. I think he's like max is like a 42-yarder. He's accurate, but can't hit a bomb. And the Cowboys like bomb kickers. So, Aidan, today the Cowboys signed Brandon Aubrey. You know who he is?
No.
He is from the USFL, baby. He has been on Birmingham the last 2 seasons. This last season, he went 14 of 15 on field goals and made all 35 point-after attempts that he attempted this year. And Aidan, for me, former Notre Dame Fighting Irish, he was on the soccer team, scored 15 goals, baby, was drafted in the first round of the MLS, and then changed his career and went into football.
Who makes more money, a USFL player or MLS?
Ooh.
I feel like MLS.
It's got to be MLS, right?
Yeah.
Has to be at this point.
Right? I was going to say, like, I feel like those. I was going to say this is a good thing, the USFL, like, working, and there's, like, the player prospects making it from there to the NFL, which is the whole point. It's like you want it to be a feeder system, like a G League or whatever. So that's good to see, but I feel like you can't be making that much money playing that league.
Well, it's apparently just a feeder system to the Cowboys, because last year they took Cavante Turpin from the USFL there, and now they are going.
Do you want PJ Walker to be your backup quarterback? That's
sure,
where he
why
come
not?
from. Houston Roughnecks legend. I need a PJ Walker Houston Roughnecks jersey.
Oh, I'm sure you could get one.
Definitely. I'm gonna look on eBay after
this. It should be cut in half though. A Roughnecks on one and a Temple on the other.
Oh, that'd be sick. I guarantee you that'd be the only jersey in its existence.
So, yeah, the Cowboys signed their kicker from the USFL, even though there's still guys out there, veterans like Robbie Gould, who a lot of Cowboys fans have been fighting for. Max Crosby's still out there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, last year in camp, the Cowboys had 2 kickers in camp, and they cut both of them and brought back Brett Maher. So we'll see what happens in camp. Just because this kid is signed does not mean he's going to be on the roster week 1 or even halfway through camp. So we shall see.
Speaking of bringing people back, what if I told you there is a running back who is somehow still a free agent, best shape of his life, looking leaner and looking faster, and juking the hell out of traffic cones? What would you say?
I would say I've been hearing this same song and dance. I've been watching this same video on VHS for the last 6 years in a row. Every offseason, it's like, Zeke's leaner. Zeke's got one ab back. Zeke's faster. Look at and I don't know. Did you watch the video? Do you ever watch the videos when he's doing these things?
I did this time because I was reading the comments.
Did you have the sound on?
No.
Watch it with the sound. Because it's not like he's just he goes like he's actually. You know what? Hold on.
You're gonna play the sound effects for me.
I'm gonna play the sound effects right now because I retweeted this tweet today. Kmess22 on Twitter. If you're not following me,
and Threads. What was the show on Nickelodeon where they lived in the safari and the little brother was like a little mini Tarzan and he just made he couldn't speak, he would just make noises like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What is that show?
I don't remember the name.
But you remember what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. It was like the Safari Family.
Yes.
Oh man. Oh, it's please someone comment on this show on YouTube.
But that's what it sounds like.
Tell us what that show was called.
That was a combination of Zeke and whoever his buddy that was out there coaching him was. But like Zeke's like just guys. It's the same song and dance every single. I literally text my one buddy Matt, who's a big Cowboys fan. I go, "It's trash can season."
Yeah, it's the Ben Simmons shooting videos. Yep. But the NFL version. It's every year. It's like when do you get old? I'd be at the point I'd be so self-conscious that even if I genuinely was in the best shape of my life and like ran a 4.2, I'd be afraid to post it.
100%. I mean, I think somebody will take a shot on him. I hate to say this, and I don't want to. People are going to get hurt in training camps around the league.
Mm-hmm.
Teams are going to be looking for running backs. Or even outside of, maybe a couple weeks into the season, a young team that, maybe is 4-0 or something, and they're looking for a veteran presence, or their running back got hurt. They're trying to get a guy to help them get through a couple weeks. Zeke will play in the NFL this season. I
There's
just
a
don't
few.
know where.
I was going to say, I feel like there's a few teams I could see him on right now. That would just be like, yeah, we'll bring him in.
Even like Buffalo.
Yep. Buffalo is one of the ones I was thinking of. Cincinnati, I was thinking of for some reason. There's
Miami.
Yeah. Just cause, I feel like they're just the hot.
He'll have the visor on. He'll fit right in.
Oh yeah. Them and the Jets are. One of them's going 8-9. I don't know who it is yet, but one of them is too cool for school right now, and I'm a little worried about that.
Yep, I think it's going to be Buffalo, New England, 1-2 in that division.
Yeah. Which would be hilarious. It would be perfect NFL offseason versus real life.
If the Jets finish below 500, last place in that division, does Rodgers just walk away?
Yes. Yeah. Which would, I don't know. If you're the Jets, you just quit at that point. It's just never going to happen.
We're done.
We're done.
See you later.
Bye.
We'll see. I'm already sick of the Jets, and now they're probably going to be on Hard Knocks too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it is just setting up for disaster. I think they should be very concerned.
I love how Salah's coming out publicly, being like, "We do not want to be on." I'm like, "Yep, okay." That's like telling your kids you're not allowed to wear that in school, and then she's just going to change at school. The NFL's will now, doesn't matter what you say. You might.
Yeah, it's like you're already at this point. It's like it's like Draymond always gets technicals for shit that everybody does, but it's like you already have that reputation. So now you're stuck with this reputation, and you're going to be on Hard Knocks because you wanted to go to the Taylor Swift concert. You wanted to go and sit courtside at MSG.
You created the circus. The NFL is now just making the tent.
Aaron Rodgers. Yep. You're just going to capitalize on your circus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This could be our last show of all time because the Phillies are in the 11th inning and have not once bunted the guy over to third. You just have to get him the third, and then you have 2 chances to get him in from there, and they haven't done it either inning, and I'm going to lose my mind.
It's not that difficult.
No. God, the bullpen is killing it. And then they won't bunt one time. Just bunt. Just get them to third.
It's 2023, and that kind of baseball doesn't work anymore. Got to hit home run or bust.
They only need 1 run.
Yeah, but 2 runs are better than 1, and then you win by 2. So it's better.
That run different. All exactly. Right. Before I get way too off track, I have one question for you that was inspired by the Eagles, so we can stay there.
Okay.
Over the weekend, Jordan Mailata got married. A lot of the guys were there. Saw a selfie of Lane Johnson and Jalen Hurts together. Jordan Mailata sang,
of our generation.
Yes, this is where I'm going with this. So Jordan Mailata performed for his wife, sang her a song. Mm-hmm. He was on Masked Singer before because he has such a good voice. He's always singing. He's been singing all summer. So this inspires my question for you. If you could have a hidden talent, what would it be?
Can it be a combined thing or just
Sure.
I and this is something I still kick myself because my mother tried to push me into it as I was a kid, and I just fought it. But now all I wish I could do is just sit down at somebody's house or in a lobby of a hotel or a restaurant after a couple of drinks and just bang out some piano.
Really?
I want to be real good on the piano and have a good singing voice. There's nothing better than somebody, at a holiday party or at a cocktail party. There's an open piano there, and you just can go over and you start playing, and people are like, "Ooh, and then there's just the crowd around you."
That'd be cool. I like that. That's a good answer. Not where I thought you'd go. I don't know what I was going to choose for you, but I don't know if piano player was it.
Mm-hmm.
You're a pianist.
How about you?
I think I'd go musician as well. If I could sing, that'd be awesome.
Yep.
To come out in a concert and just have people erupt and you just start belting, I think would be the coolest adrenaline rush in the world. We always tweet that video that Jalen Ramsey tweeted when he got sent to Miami, and it was like Lil Yachty coming out at the music festival, and he hadn't even started performing yet, and the crowd is just going nuts, jumping up and down. Like, imagine that rush that they're just waiting for you to open your voice into the microphone and just going nuts. I think
then as soon as you do, the entire crowd goes nuts.
Yeah, and then they hit another level after that.
That kind of reminds me, I'm trying to look where it was. Did you see what the quote from Shaq about DJing?
He DJ'd at the Phillies game.
Yeah, you see what he said? He said, I don't DJ for the money. I DJ to replace the Game 7 energy that I can't seem to replicate anywhere else besides at music festivals.
See, okay, this is, if I was famous like Shaq is famous, I'd be doing side quests like him.
Yep.
Like, yeah, like be a DJ. Who cares? Do it. Like, you don't even have to be the best DJ in the world. Do it for fun. And like he said, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for the adrenaline rush to replace like Game 7. I could see that. You make the beat drop. Everyone, like the entire crowd is just looking at you going nuts. Like, yeah, what an adrenaline rush. And you might as well just like go for it.
Yep. I'll tell you, I was in Ibiza at Ushuaia and Club Ibiza and saw Kygo and saw Afrojack. Those clubs, it's just pure insanity. And when that beat drops, there's nothing like it.
I'm too poor to imagine it.
The funniest part was there's bars at these clubs, right? Not one person in line at the bars. All you see is random people walking up getting waters every once in a while. And my wife was like, and we were getting drinks at the bar, and she's like, why is there no line at the bar? I go, because everyone's on drugs.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they needed the water more than the alcohol.
Yes, they don't care about the alcohol. They're all coked out of their mind,
sweating it out.
And then they're going to the White House. But yeah, it was that atmosphere and that adrenaline must be just
the best,
unbelievable.
Yeah. Awesome. And if I was famous, that's exactly how I would do it.
100%. Look at that, 31 minutes in July.
We did it. 31 minutes in July.
Pass rushers, Keele Ringo, Cowboys kickers, Zeke, and hidden talents.
Can't beat it. What an outline we put together for a show in July. I'll take it.
Producers.
We still are on.
Yeah.
Still need those to finish this afterwards.
Vince, don't listen to that part. All right, before Aidan goes crazy, we're going to get out of here so he can finish watching the Phillies.
They scored. They did, and they a hit by pitch and then a single. And then they got another single. So they actually made it through not being able to punt.
There you go. All right, so Aidan's happy. All right, let everybody know again, Aidan, where they can follow, listen, watch, all the good things.
We are a Threads podcast now. Everyone is a Thread person, but also follow us on Instagram. If you are a grass enthusiast and want to complain about grass, we have the Instagram channel for you. Twitter, as always, Kevin's been pumping out content. TikTok will be great in a little bit once we get into our list. Maybe we'll make a top 10 pass rusher list. And keep pumping up the numbers on YouTube. It's been awesome. We love to see it grow. And like we said, July, and no games to talk about. It's still growing. It's fantastic. So thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of your week, 4th of July week. If you're listening on the beach, you're not back to work, congratulations. Good for you. And Aidan, I'm going to leave you with this. Training camp is less than a month away.
Can you also leave that with Keele Ringo?
Goodbye.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upside alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.